Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho. We're coming to you on this Friday, on the 12th day of December, bringing Morning Matters because your mornings matters. Get to the stories that matter today. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee has launched a new inquiry into government corruption, this time focusing on the Bureau of Internal Revenue's letters of authority. Ramil Madriaga alleges that Vice President Sara Duterte received drug and pogo money, claiming bags of cash were moved using a DepEd vehicle. His lawyer confirmed that Madriaga possesses photos and text messages to substantiate these serious allegations. And we'll check on updates from Thailand for the 33rd Southeast Asian Games. How many medals has Team Philippines secured so far? Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about the issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda, senators have uncovered alleged abuses inside the Bureau of Internal Revenue, including the use of letters of authority to pressure business owners and the reported extortion of millions in supposed tax settlements. Here is the report.
At the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, senators detailed alleged abuses and schemes carried out by certain personnel of the Bureau of Internal Revenue in issuing letters of authority or LOAs, used to harass or pressure business owners. One of the main issues raised was the issuance of multiple LOAs within a single taxable year. Some business owners reportedly received 4 in just 6 months. Once an LOA is issued, a business is required to undergo a tax audit, and this is where questionable tax assessments allegedly occur.
Ang report po sa atin ay nag-offer, halimbawa ang BIR examiner sa City of Manila, na isettle ang LOA sa halagang 400,000 all-in. Dahil hindi sila pumapayag sa hinihinging lagay, naglabas ang examiner ng assessment na umabot ng 13 milyon o 13 million pesos. Ay nakakapagtaka raw dito dahil ang gross sales lang ang nagnegosyo ay 12 million pesos.
There were also allegations of extortion through tax compromise, where examiners would persuade business owners to pay a lower amount than the legally required tax, but only a portion of this would actually go to government. Only 25% of the correct tax collection supposedly reaches the BIR, and the remaining 75%.
Where did the rest of the collection go from these instruments? Di po sa bulsa ng mga examiner, RDOs at regional directors.
Former BIR Commissioner Kim Henares emphasized that LOA are essential to check whether taxes remitted match declared income.
That letter of authority push behavior of compliance. No? So, yun hindi pwedeng mawala yung takot kasi marami hindi nagbabayad. No? Meron study na we have not collected more than 1 trillion pesos from tax evasion.
We from the BIR appear before you today with openness and humility to respond to and to clarify the issues that brought us here, and to listen, learn, and work with the Senate to strengthen our tax system.
Finance Secretary Frederick Go also vowed decisive action.
We welcome this investigation. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has made it unequivocally clear we will not tolerate corruption in government.
Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chairman Ping Lacson announced that the panel will soon recommend the filing of criminal charges against individuals implicated in the flood control scandal. Lacson said the committee is already finalizing its report following investigations into alleged irregularities. The panel has likewise provided the Independent Commission for Infrastructure and the Department of Justice with all relevant information gathered during the probe. Lacson noted that the committee is expected to recommend charges against several district engineers of the Department of Public Works and Highways, as well as other public officials. He added that the inquiry may be wrapping up soon, explaining that with cases on the flood control controversy now filed in court, the panel must be cautious not to violate the sub judice rule, which bars statements that could influence ongoing proceedings. The lawmakers from the minority bloc are pushing back against the House leadership's newly filed anti-political dynasty bill. House Bill 6771 authored by current House leaders, including Majority Leader Sandro Marcos, bars relatives up to the fourth civil degree from holding certain elective posts at the same time. This includes spouses, siblings, parents and children, first cousins, aunts, uncles, nieces, and nephews. However, the restriction only applies when relatives run for positions within the same cluster or level of elective office, such as national, district, provincial, city, municipal, or barangay posts. Now, if they run in different clusters, the ban will not apply. Some lawmakers warn that instead of prohibiting dynasties, the measure may actually legitimize them.
It's not an anti-political dynasty bill. It's a bill that legitimizes the existence of political dynasties. Paano kung mabibigyan ng chance kung 5 bawat pamilya, 5 public official, nasaan pa yung chance ng ibang mga mamamayan na maging public official?
The Philippine real estate market is showing mixed signals. The office sector remains resilient despite the mass exit of POGOs, but the residential market continues to struggle with an oversupply. Mobile journalist Aimee Atienza reports.
The Philippines office property market has shown surprising resilience in the face of many headwinds, but the residential market continues to battle an oversupply problem. That was the headline at Lee Chu Property Consultants year-end briefing for 2025. In the office market, take-up improved and vacancies eased even in the absence of POGOs.
The office market today is 1.2 million square meters. And a reminder of that is that we are doing this without the help of the POGO industry. But the big story here is what we've seen this year, which is a rise of what we call the Global Capability Centers, or GCCs, or formerly known as captive tenants.
Global Capability Centers, or GCCs, are essentially internal offshoring centers for multinationals. They serve only the company's business needs. The big ones in the country, for instance, are JP Morgan and Wells Fargo. LPC Director for Commercial Leasing Miko Baranda says the data shows that the effects of the POGO exit have largely dissipated, as more GCCs in other sectors take an interest in the Philippines.
We're also seeing new players, primarily represented in the healthcare industry, in finance, etc. But where the opportunity lies here is that even though there are quite a few of those brands existing, if you look at the number of GCCs exist in the Philippines today, there are 100 companies.
On the other hand, the residential property market remains sluggish. LPC estimates it will take 3.5 years to clear out unsold supply, with most of them concentrated in Metro Manila. The glut is spread out across 570 buildings, or about 80,300 units.
Unfortunately, we're at a 6-year low in terms of total units sold for residential condominiums. So last year we thought was already quite a low year. This year it might end up lower. In the last 20 days, 25 days of this year, developers can still sweep many of their potential buyers to convert to sales.
Goles says they're seeing more buyers explore the secondary market because prices are better there. Many who bought units during the POGO boom, for instance, are now liquidating at competitive prices, something Goles says is an opportunity.
So as much as 35 to 65% discount from primary to secondary units in the same building, in the same district, by the same developer. So there's actually an opportunity if you're a first home buyer to go to government agencies, especially the financing companies or financing agencies, to avail of these lower interest rate loans.
Goles also says in the coming years, they expect to see more development to the north and south of Metro Manila.
That movement south will likely be mirrored movement towards the north. And the catalyst of that movement will be the new Manila International Airport.
Rental rates have also come down after the POGO premium was taken out. And today's rates, LPC says, more accurately reflect actual demand. Kapatid Aimee Atienza, we are One News.
And coming right up, Prosecutor General Richard Fadullon urges contractors Curly and Sara Discaya to return any illegally obtained government funds. He stressed that the public has the right to recover money lost to illicit acts. All that and more when Morning Matters returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning, I'm Gretchen Ho here on Morning Matters. We talk about the most pressing issues and give you the context behind headlines. Prosecutor General Richard Fadullon says the early surrender of contractor Sara Discaya may serve as a mitigating circumstance that could reduce her penalty if she is eventually found guilty. Fadullon explained that voluntary surrender is among the factors courts consider when lowering penalties. Discaya surrendered to the NBI after President Marcos announced that a warrant for her arrest was forthcoming. Her camp insisted the move was a legal strategy and not an admission of guilt. Fadullon said it will ultimately be up to the courts to determine whether her surrender merits a reduced sentence. And joining us today is Prosecutor General Richard Fadullon of the Department of Justice to give us clarity on the situation involving the Discayas. Magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Hi, magandang umaga. Good morning, Gretchen, and good morning to all your listeners and viewers.
Okay, una-una ho, no, I would just like to get clear on the details surrounding the surrender of Sara Discaya. Paano po ba nangyari yun? At ngayon po ba, wala pa rin hong arrest warrant na inilalabas officially?
Sa ngayon, wala pa kaming nalalaman na arrest warrant na nilabas, no? Ang alam lang namin is that ito ay bunga ng isang kaso na isinampa ng Office of the Ombudsman at ito ay naisampa sa isa sa mga regional trial courts. I'm not sure if this is the one in Davao, pero I think it's by reason of that that si Sara Discaya decided to surrender or go into the protective custody of the National Bureau of Investigation.
And is that I mean, legally speaking, parang what is her status now that she is with the NBI?
Well, kung halimbawa humihingi siya ng, ang sinasabi niya kasi is that humihingi siya ng protective custody para sa kanyang sariling proteksyon, no? Wala naman nagbabawal na ito si siya ay lumapit sa tanggapan ng NBI para mabigyan ng kaukulang proteksyon. Pero alam naman natin na sa mga panahon na nagdaan, no, kung itong mga threats na to, kung talagang meron, ito'y nandiyan siya na noon pa. Pero ngayon lang siya nakapag-isip na pumunta sa NBI at humingi ng protection dito dahil lamang sa meron ng announcement or meron ng balita na nasampahan na siya ng kaso.
Okay. So this was done preempting the warrant of arrest, the serving of that. No? Pero nabanggit niyo po that early surrender could possibly reduce penalty. Ano po ang ibig niyo sabihin doon?
Kasi meron kasi tayo sa batas, Gretchen. I mean, it's not early surrender. Ang kwan ito is yung voluntary surrender. When one, for example, is charged with an offense, kung meron kang kaso na naisampa laban sa'yo, may dalawang paraan para ikaw ay makuha sa kustudiya ng husgado. Ang isa ay sa pamamagitan ng warrant of arrest na kung saan mag-i-issue ang korte ng warrant of arrest at ikaw ay susuko, no, ng voluntaryo. Ang pangalawa is kung hihintayin mo na ikaw ay maaresto ng ating mga otoridad. Ngayon, ang ginawa ni Ginang Discaya is that nagdesisyon siya na, sige, total may announcement ng ganyan, ako'y kusa ng pupunta sa NBI at susuko. Ang batas natin kumikilala ng mga pamamaraan para mabigyan ng, kumbaga, mabawasan yung sentensya ng isang akusado. Tulad ng voluntary surrender, voluntary surrender is one of them. Plea of guilt, for example, is also one of them. And eventually, kung halimbawa merong sentence doon sa tao niyon, halimbawa sila napatunayan na nagkasala, ikukonsidera ng ating husgado itong mga mitigating circumstances sa to kung tawagin, at sila ay maaring mabawasan yung kanilang sentensya.
Okay. Pero paano kung wala pong confession? Kasi sabi po ni Attorney Samaniego that this was more of a legal strategy for them and not an admission. Would you know if they did confess to anything?
Well, sa ngayon wala pang wala silang actual confession except yung sinasabi nila sa Senado nung sila ay tumitisigo na alam nila yung mga nangyayari at sila ay parang lumalabas pa nga, parang sila ay napipilitan lamang na maging bahagi ng buong proseso sa dahilang wala silang choice dahil sila ay mga contractor at kailangan nila maghanap buhay. Maaring ito'y isang legal strategy, hindi naman natin, pero eventually pagdating niyan sa korte, kung halimbawang ito'y dumaan na sa isang paglilitis, natitiyak ko nagagamitin nilang isa sa mga grounds nila later on, kung halimbawang magkaibitan na si Sara Discaya ay kusang pumunta sa tanggapan ng ating National Bureau of Investigation para isumite ang sarili niya, hindi dahil sa siya umaamin, kundi dahil sa ayaw niya nang bigyan pa ayaw niya nang pahirapan yung ehensya na hanapin pa siya, tulihin pa siya, ipakita yung sinasabi, maaaring ipakita na siya ay in good faith, that's why she's submitting herself to the NBI.
Yun na nga ho, parang ganun nga po ang pinalalabas na para sila po ay biktima nitong sistema na kinakailangan lang din nilang gawin ito para sa kanilang negosyo. But how credible is that story to you? That nahirapan po sila doon, that they're losing money in the hundreds of millions. Pwede po ba yun? I mean, what are you seeing with those arguments?
Well, sa akin, I have my own personal views, Gretchen, pero gusto ko silang bigyan ng tinatawag nating benefit of the doubt, although I think quite obvious na kung sila ay naging biktima, abay hindi sila biktima na nahirapan. Diba? Sila ay biktima na nakinabang. That's how everybody sees it. Now, ang akin lang is wala namang sinasabi yung batas na kung ikaw ay parang biktima lamang, ikaw ay walang liabilidad. Ang nangyayari dito kasi is walang pag-amin, Ang pag-amin nila is parang merong justification na binibigay.
So hindi po pag-amin 'yon.
Well, sa tingin ko, it's not really an admission. It's more of just a pronouncement or an explanation na kung ako may na-involve dyan o kung may nasangkot dyan, ito hindi dahil sa kagustuhan namin. Kundi ito'y isang bagay na nangyari lamang dahil sa napilitan kami. At wala na kaming pagkakataong matras pa.
Okay, now with this early surrender, would this change things for the couple, knowing that they have earlier applied for state witness status, na sinabi na po ng Office ng Ombudsman na hindi sila qualified? Is it possible to reconsider that assessment, seeing that they are a little bit more compliant now? Posible po ba yun na magbago yung desisyon doon?
Ganito, Gretchen, kailangan magkaroon tayo ng distinction Iba kasi yung immunity na maaring ibigay ng Office of the Ombudsman, and iba rin yung immunity na ibinibigay halimbawa ang isang tao ay admitted sa programa, sa Witness Protection Program.
Correct.
So, kung ang tanong is magbabago ba ang pananaw o ang tawag dito, ang pananaw, let's say for example, ng gobyerno dahil dito sa ginawa nila? Alam mo, makakapagsabi lang talaga niyan is kung ano ang susunod na gagawin ng mga Discayas. Kasi sa ngayon naman, maliban sa paglalahad ng mga pangalan at pagbabanggit ng mga halaga doon sa voucher na kaakibat ng mga pangalan, wala tayong nakikitang malinaw na ebidensya na nagpapatunay na itong mga tao na ito na binanggit ay may kinalaman nga dito sa mga akusasyon na sinasabi ng mga Discayas. Okay? Ang meron lang is what we have are the names and then some figures. Pero kailangan kasi, Gretchen, meron tayong mga detalye. Pagka nagbanggit ka ng pangalan ng isang tao o inimplicate mo ang isang tao, nangangahulugan na meron kang detalye tulad ng patungkol ito sa anong transaksyon, sa anong proyekto, magkano halaga nitong proyekto na to, magkano kinita nila, magkano porsyento ang hiningi nila, saang lugar ito, paano nyo ibinigay. Maraming detalye na kailangan nilahad. Maliban lamang sa pangalan at maliban lamang sa mga halaga. No? So, kailangan ito, kung talagang merong tinatawag na change of heart at gusto nilang maglahad, tayo naman ay handang makinig, no? Tayo ay handang makinig, pero hindi po tayo maghahabol at magmamakaawa para sila po ay tumistigo para sa atin.
So kumbaga, dapat mauna po yung kanilang tell-all statement bago nyo ikonsidera na sila ay gawing state witness. Hindi po baliktad, no? Na natatakot po sila, nangangamba sila sa kanilang kaligtasan, kaya gusto nila i-garantiya muna na magkakaroon sila ng proteksyon o some sort of immunity.
Yeah, tama ka dun, Gretchen. And kung maaari ko lang ipaliwanag, no? Ang pag-unawa kasi, kailangan unawain natin yung pamamaraan ng kung paano mag-apply o pumasok sa Witness Protection Program. Hindi lahat ng tao na gustong tumistigo ay tatanggapin ng programa dahil lamang sa gusto nilang tumistigo. Hindi rin sila tatanggapin sa programa simply because sila ay merong threat. No? Pwede silang maaaring bigyan sila ng konting protection pero hindi nangangahulugan ito na sila ay kukunin ng state witness. Kasi magkaiba yun eh. Pwedeng i-consider ng WPSP, bigyan kang protection kung halimbawang katulad niyan, merong legislative inquiry at sinasabi mo merong kang threat at napatunayan nga na ikaw ay may threat at ikaw ay may gustong sabihin, natatakot kang maglahad dahil sa pangamba para sa inyong seguridad, pwede kang bigyan. Pero hindi ibig sabihin, tanggap ka na sa Witness Protection Program, it's state witness ka na. Kung gusto mong maging isang state witness, kinakailangan sabihin mo lahat ng iyong nalalaman at kinakailangan itong nalalaman mo ay mahalaga para sa kaso at maaaring makorroborate ng ibang ebidensya. Hindi yung nag-apply ako, tanggapin niyo ako at tapos state witness na kagad ako. Kasi hindi naman sa lahat ng pagkakataon kailangan ng state witness, Gretchen. Only in cases na halimbawa nakikita ng gobyerno na medyo intricate, no, or komplikado yung pamamaraan ng paggawa ng krimen, doon mo kailangan ng state witness kasi wala kang tao na magpapatunay doon sa mga pangyayari maliban doon sa mga taong sangkot sa paggawa ng krimen.
Sa ngayon marami kasi kaya kumbaga we can piece the puzzle together using the other testimonies.
Opo. Ganun nga po ang ginagawa natin na tumitingin tayo sa iba na kung pwede nating tahi-tahiin yung storya. Kaya yung observation po ng ibang tao na pagka halimbawa ang akusado ang nasa sakdal ay isang taong may kaya, mayaman, napakatagal na proseso. Napakahirap bago sila makulong, mahuli. Kumpara sa isang tao na mahirap at nahuli sa, let's say for example, na nag-shoplift, malaki po ang pinagkaiba po nun. Kasi kung ikaw ay nag-shoplift at ikaw ay nahuli sa akto, wala ka nang kailangan patunayan kasi nandoon na mismo hawak mo yung ninakaw mo at ikaw ay nahuli sa akto. Samantalang ito, ilang taon na nilang ginagawa ito, gaano karaming transaksyon na ang ginawa nila At yung pamamaraan ng paggawa o pagsasagawa nung krimen ay napaka-komplikado, no? Na merong ibang tao na ang alam lang nila itong part lang na ito, merong iba parang compartmentalized siya. So hindi alam ng lahat yung buong storya.
Ang isa pong nakapagtataka, bakit ho, alam ko po si Curly Discaya ay naka-detain sa Senado, ano? Pero kung sakasakali ho, pareho ba silang mag-asawa ng kaso na haharapin? I mean, same level because they are a couple, or magkaiba po yun?
No,
yung kanilang
not necessarily.
status, involvement.
Not necessarily kasi ang criminal cases are personal. No, it doesn't mean that mag-asawa silang dalawa ay charged for the same offenses kaagad. Pero in so far as this case now na nakasampa sa naisampa ng Office of the Ombudsman, hindi ko lang tiyak kung exactly ano ang nature ng charges or if this pertains only to Sara Discaya or both Sara and Curly Discaya.
Okay. And for example, sila po ay nailitis na nga po dito. They're facing charges over the Davao Occidental projects. Paano pa po yung iba pa? They are one of the top contractors, so they're also involved in other infrastructure projects. Kung sakasakali, they are charged as guilty dito po sa Davao Occidental. Would that suffice? I'm not a lawyer, no? So, paano po yun? How will the other... Wala na po bang need na habulin pa yung iba pang mga, kumbaga, insufficiency sa iba pang mga proyekto?
No, let me just get yung if I got the question straight. So, parang sinasabi mo, if you're asking, kung na-convict na halimbawa, nalitis na sila sa isang kaso, paano kung meron pang ibang kaso?
Yes, in other projects of the same nature.
Okay. Then they are not prevented from being, the government is not prevented from still going after them. Kasi kung halimbawa, itong kaso na kung saan sila lilitisin ngayon, no? Itong naisampa dahil sa Davao Occidental. Kung yan ilitisin, and then habang yan ay nililitis, meron pang ibang mga proyekto na kung saan sila masangkot o may ibang kaso kung saan sila masangkot, tuloy pa rin yun. Hindi ito bar or hindi itong unang kaso na to ay hindi hadlang sa pagsasampa ng iba pang kaso laban sa kanila patungkol sa ibang mga proyekto. At ito ay pwede pa rin litisin. So, paano ngayon yan? Ang maiiba lang dyan, Gretchen, yung proseso. Kasi kung halimbawa, itong patungkol sa Davao Occidental na tawag nito projects, ang paglilitis ito ay maaring gawin sa kahit na saang special criminal courts na create ng Supreme Court na hahawak ng mga flood projects. No? Ghost projects, so flood control projects. So, any of those courts, doon nilitisin yan sa husgado mismo. Pero kung halimbawa mapatunayan na sila ay nagkasala na at sila ay nasintensyahan, ang utos ng ating Korte Suprema is that dapat dalhin sila sa kaukulang piitan at kung meron mang mga paglilitis na gagawin, ay doon na gagawin ng husgado na kung saan man ma-assign itong mga panibagong kaso.
Okay. Mag-ipo-pool together yung mga kaso na yon sa pagbubuo. And speaking of cases, hihahabol ko lang before I let you go. Ito pong kaso sa Bulacan, ano po ang update natin? No? Kasi meron na pong nabuo sa Oriental Mindoro, pero dito sa Bulacan, how is that going?
Well, yung sa Bulacan po right now, we have a total of about 12 cases already. No? 12 cases, different stages, magkakaibang stages yan, Gretchen. Ang 4 dito ay submitted na for resolution kasi po yung nire-resolba ng ating mga taga-usig. Ang isa ay, ang 8 ay magsisimula or patapos na yung tinatawag nating preliminary investigation. So, ang kasunod po niyan is, kumbaga, yung preliminary investigation kasi ito yung formal investigation na kung saan sila pinasasagot at doon determinahin kung talagang merong sapat na ebidensya para ito'y maiakyat sa husgado. So, yung 8 doon, magsisimula pa lamang yung preliminary investigation. 4 or 5 of them are about to be resolved already.
Meron po bang mahahainan ng arrest warrant na senador? Kasi meron po mga nabanggit dito sa Bulacan flood control controversy.
Well, titingnan natin kung aabot, pero meron yung mga nasampahan, pero alam mo kasi ang problema natin is it's already around the Christmas season. We're already what now? December 12, no? And ang amin lang kasi dito is hindi namin pwedeng madaliin yung proseso, no? Madaliin yung proseso ng preliminary investigation, lalo pat humihingi ng halimbawa na extension yung mga respondents para sagutin ang mga demanda laban sa kanila. Pero pinipilit natin at the very least na matapos yung preliminary investigation. Kung halimbawa mang may sapat na ebidensya at ito may isampa sa husgado, we're expecting na the cases to be terminated yung PI within the year. But early next year, it will be filed in court. And then the court will now decide kung ma-issuehan ng warrant o hindi.
So yun po ang pinaka nagiging problema po, yung pag-request ng extension, no? Gaano ba kakomplikado itong kaso sa Bulacan kumpara dun sa Mindoro? Kasi nagtataka po ang marami, bakit nauna po yun compared to the Bulacan?
Yung kaso ng Bulacan kasi hindi naman mas simple siya, no? Yung ibang kaso niya doon kasi ghost projects ito eh. So mas simple siya, kaya lamang it was filed for preliminary investigation much later than yung cases dun sa Mindoro. Now, pangalawa, ito kasi kung merong involved na proponent, no, kumbaga mas madali siya kung ghost project kasi district engineer lang pababa ang sasampahan mo ng kaso eh. Pero kapag halimbawa may proponent na halimbawa umaakyat na sa kung kanino mapupunta yung pondo, kung kanino napunta yung pondo, mas mahaba yung rota na dadaanan mo at kinakailangan mo ng mas karagdagan at mas matibay na ebidensya para maituro mo at magkaroon ka ng sapat na basihan para sampahan ng kaso kung sino man yung proponent dito sa mga kasong ito. It's really more of the complex structure of how yung crime was committed. No, sabi ko nga, stages yan and kadalasan compartmentalized kung kaya hindi lahat ng tao alam ang buong kwento. Mangilan-ngilan lamang ang nakakaalam sa kanila at minsan kinakailangan mo na tahi-tahiin ito, kumuha ka ng testimonya galing sa iba't ibang tao para mabuo mo yung kwento.
Okay, aabangan po namin yan early next year according to your timeline. Maraming salamat for joining us this morning and for explaining to us and giving us some updates on the flood control probe. We have Prosecutor General Richard Fadullon of the Department of Justice. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gretchen. Yeah, thank you, and thank you to all your viewers. Good morning.
When Morning Matters returns, let's take a look at the latest from Thailand for the 33rd Southeast Asian Games. Stay tuned. Morning Matters will be back after a quick break. Keep it here. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Team Philippines continues to rack up medals at the 2025 Southeast Asian Games. As of 11:30 in the evening yesterday, the Philippines sits at 5th place overall. Filipino athletes have secured 33 medals so far, including 5 gold, 7 silver, and 21 bronze. Jelly Bulaong's gold in MMA modern 60 kilogram is not included in the official tally as it is a demo sport. For more updates from the 33rd Southeast Asian Games, we have one sports correspondent, Carlo Pamintuan. Magandang umaga sa iyo, Carlo.
Good morning, Gretchen. Thank you for having me. It was a very interesting day for Philippine sports dito sa Bangkok. Sabi mo nga, no, we are now sitting at 5th after being only 7th after the first day of official competitions for the 33rd Southeast Asian Games. We had more medals picked up in the second day of competitions, including 3 gold medals na nakuha natin, 2 from jiu-jitsu and then 1 from artistic gymnastics.
And how was that? Were you there? Were you a witness to the performance of our teams?
The gold medals, no, because yung toka ko dito sa Southeast Asian Games will be with the boxers and with Gilas Pilipinas squad. Yesterday, yun yung unfortunate news, no? For the first time in history ng 3x3 basketball here in the Southeast Asian Games. Unfortunately, the Philippines will not be bringing home any medal. We were hopeful that our Gilas Pilipinas men will be able to march towards the podium towards the podium of that competition kasi in the first day wala silang talo, no? They took care of business against Vietnam, won that game, and then won also against Malaysia. Unfortunately, in the second day, kahit tinalo nila yung Lao in the group stage game, they fell in the semifinals rather, in a tough match against Singapore. Tapos maging yung battle for the bronze medal, they fell short versus Malaysia. So they will go home without the medal. The fight was there. Nakita ko si Ange Kwame specifically. He was really distraught. Talagang mabigat yung loob because he really wanted to compete. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it. It is his first time playing 3x3. Pero parang sabi ni Ange, it just fuels him to play more, to play better. At sana nga daw mabigyan siya ng isa pang pagkakataon makalaban here in the Southeast Asian Games in the near future.
I'm a little bit confused. Di ba hindi pinayagan ng mga naturalized, pero pwede sila sa 3x3?
Yes, that is the unique rule here in basketball. 3x3, they allowed naturalized players but not for 5-on-5. Yun din yung dahilan, malaking tulong sa Indonesia why they actually won the women's competition in 3x3 dahil meron din silang isang naturalized player doon, itong si Kimberly Pierre-Louis. So, as the host, Thailand can really mix and match whatever rule they see fit that will benefit them. They felt that their men's team did not need a naturalized player. So, parang okay lang, sige, pabayaan nyo yung mga yan. But in the men's 5-on-5 game, they disallowed any naturalized players from coming in. Hindi nga lang yung naturalized, they disallowed anyone who cannot play as a local in FIBA competitions, which means dapat may passport ka ng Pilipinas before the age of 16 or you were given a clearance to go ahead by FIBA to compete as a local.
Wow, tight rules, huh?
Yeah.
Is it the short window of time that they had to adjust to the 3x3 that caused for the Philippines to fall off the semi-final round? At kamusta naman yung 5-on-5 na team natin? At gaano katagal ang kanilang inensayo together? What would be the challenges for men's 5-on-5?
Well, in 3x3, si Ange lang naman talaga yung bago, no? But the other players have a lot of history with 3x3. Si Joseph Eriobu, si Joseph Sidurifa have been here before. Nakalaban na rin sila in the Southeast Asian Games. They fell to Cambodia in the gold medal match in 2023. Ito si John Ray Pasaol also played in the Asian Games for 3x3 as well. So the experience was there. As a unit, they trained for maybe a month to be able to prepare for the Southeast Asian Games. Kaso yun nga, mas maganda yung nilaro nung kanilang mga kalaban. Siyempre, dagdag mo pa yon the added inspiration from Singapore and from Malaysia to really score a win against the Philippines basketball powerhouse in the region. So ganado talaga sila na maipanalo yung competition against our squad. For our 5-on-5 team, nakarating na sila dito sa Bangkok kahapon. Unfortunately, pagdating pa nga lang nila, medyo dinatnan na ng konting malas ang ating koponan kasi 30 minutes into their travel from the airport to their hotel, nasiraan yung bus. They had to be rescued. Actually, I think some of them posted videos online of how they were stranded in the middle of the road as their bus conked out. Pero they're in good spirits. Si Coach Norman Black will be spearheading the attack for our squad. Yun nga, limited yung time to be able to practice, to get everyone together. But, we make do with what we have. We have a lot of great names in the roster. We have Bobby Ray Parks and Terdy Ravena, people who have a lot of experience competing for Gilas Pilipinas. Kaya naman inaasahan natin na maganda yung ilalaro nila na ibabawi tayo ng ating 5-on-5 team. Pero Gretchen, pasadahan ko lang, yung kino-cover ko rin na sport, yung boxing. So we had 2 boxers competing yesterday. Mixed results yung kanilang nakuha. Si Claudine Veloso, medalist in kickboxing, a gold medalist in kickboxing in 2023 in Cambodia. Unfortunately, lost in the quarterfinals pero umabante naman into the semifinals si J. Brian Baricuatro, an outstanding young boxer from the flyweight division. Kaya nadagdagan pa yung guaranteed medals for our Philippine team. As of now, as of this moment, meron na tayong 8 garantisadong medals. From the sport of boxing, we're hoping na madagdagan pa yan mamaya as we have 2 more athletes competing from the quarterfinals. Tapos si Hergy Bacyadan ilalaban in the semifinals. Hergy could actually be the first Filipino boxer to make it to the finals. Kaso yung kalaban niya mamaya, matindi kasi taga-Thailand. So we will hope and pray that Hergy will be able to secure that victory para umabante na siya sa gold medal match.
You've been covering this for many, many years. Help us gain perspective over how well the Philippines is doing at this stage in the tournament with 5 golds, 5 silvers, and 20 bronze medals. Kamusta ang iyong assessment at anong reaksyon ng Philippine contingent dyan, our officials?
So POC wanted 60 gold medals. Yun yung target nila, no? That was their soft target to be able to reach the top 4. Right now, you see 60 and you see 5, sasabihin mo malayo. But yung mga Pilipino talaga, karamihan ng mga medals, bobomba dun sa dulo. Like I've already said boxing. We have 8 guaranteed, but none of them will be counted up until the final 2 days of the Southeast Asian Games. So sa dulo mo pa talaga makukuha yung mga medalya na yan. A bunch of the individual sports, the taekwondo, the jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu has delivered 8 medals already for us. Sila yung bubuhat in the meantime for our medal tally. But we have great athletes coming in. We have si Heidelin Diaz and the rest of the weightlifting team. We have our basketball team. We have our baseball team competing for the gold later. So even if it's just 5 now, I think we still have a good opportunity to really chase for that 60 gold medal that is set by Kong Bambol Tolentino.
Okay, maraming salamat. Thank you for sharing with us your wealth of experience. Quite fitting to have you on the final day of the week. Senior correspondent Carlo Pamintuan, thank you for helping us gain perspective over what's happening there in Bangkok. Please do cheer for us for Team Philippines. Maraming salamat. Back to politics. The Sandigan Bayan has declared former lawmaker Zaldi Co and 3 others as fugitives from justice in connection with alleged ghost flood control projects. The court said Co showed a clear pattern of evading prosecution, noting that he left the country while investigations were active and charges imminent. The court also canceled his passport, calling his departure a deliberate attempt to flee from justice. Passports of his co-accused were likewise canceled, and they too were declared fugitives. 9 other accused in the case have already been arrested and are currently detained. And joining us this morning to respond to those, we have Attorney Rui Rondain, legal counsel of former lawmaker Zaldi Co. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Attorney.
Hi, Gretchen. How are you today?
Very good, very good. All right. Una-una ho, no, ito na nga po, officially declared na po as a fugitive from justice ng Sandigan Bayan, si Congressman Zaldi Co, and his passport has been canceled. Do you confirm receiving this resolution?
Yes, we received it ng 5 p.m., almost close of business, the other day.
The other day. Okay. Kasi kayo po ay nagsabi, nag-express po kayo ng doubt over yung paglabas po ng resolution na ito.
Yes.
Pero I understand, no, there were several things that happened throughout that day. Help us go through the timeline. You said you also received the same order. Parang you were given 5 days to comment on the petition, and then you received the order. So how did it happen?
Last week, we received an order saying na we have 5 days to comment to the motion to cancel the passport filed by the Ombudsman. We said that we didn't have a copy of the motion. We weren't served. The Sandigan said na serve kayo niyan, but in any case, Ombudsman, serve mo ulit. So that was December 4, I think, or December 3. So humihingi kami ng kopya, hinihintay din namin, hindi namin nakukuha yung kopya na sinaserve ng Ombudsman. Last Monday, I think about 10 a.m., binigyan kami ng kopya ng Sandigan Bayan, ay ng Ombudsman. So sabi namin, okay, so now we have 5 days, due next Monday. And then nung tinanong ako ng 3 p.m., wala pa akong balita because sabi ko nga, meron akong 5 days until Monday next week. And then nagulat na lang ako na natanggap namin ng 5 o'clock yung order ng Sandigan na sabi, canceled na because we didn't oppose. You see, that's the thing. Kaya sabi ko dun sa statement ko na, na-mislead yung 5th Division. Because late kami nabigyan ng Ombudsman, hindi pa rin kami nakakasagot until Monday pa. Sabi ko nga, In the mind of the Sandigan, nabigyan na kami ng time, we waived the hour. That's a problem. So, the next day, immediately, 8 a.m. yesterday, we filed a motion for reconsideration with the 5th Division saying na medyo premature kasi kakatanggap lang namin ng motion. Di pa kami nakaka-comment. In fact, up to now, no, until Monday, I keep saying, until Monday pa. Salisi.
Oo, so paano ho yun? Ano? How soon does the cancellation order take effect? Or is there a time before it becomes executory? Will you contest that legally over how it happened?
Yes, we filed a motion for reconsideration yesterday. Sabi ko nga.
Yun po yun. Oh.
Yesterday. And then, we hope the Sandigan Bayan hears it. And then, we hope the Sandigan Bayan reconsiders. Sinabi ko rin na medyo premature naman yung action ng DFA kasi hindi pa final eh. Pagka silang nakakatanggap ng adverse decision, sinabi na hindi pa final, may appeal pa kami. And then all of a sudden, ito 10 minutes after lumabas yung order, alam naman na meron motion for recon, they implement it. So,
Now, in the same ruling, the Sandigan Bayan said there was intent by Zaldico to evade prosecution, saying that his flight was strategically timed and there was a pattern of non-compliance and avoidance. What is your response to that and your explanation for his departure before charges and warrants were issued?
Because yan yung sinabi ng, that's what the prosecution said in their motion to cancel. So of course, the Sandigan Bayan looked at it looked at one side of the issue only. They're not allowed naman to take into consideration press conferences and press interviews. So they have to look at what was before them. This is precisely why the law grants the person opposing a motion to comment to the motion, to give the court his version of the facts. And,
at ano po yung explanation po ng kampo po ninyo?
Well, he didn't leave to flee, to escape prosecution, because nga, umalis siya for medical reasons way before this all happened. Ginagamit ng ombudsman yung mga interviews ko, among others, na sinabi ko na, well, let's not go into the details, baka makontent ako. Nandun naman sa motion nun. Pero sinagot lahat yan, na inaccurate yung quote ng ombudsman.
So it was really for health reasons?
Yes. And eventually, naging fear na. But he never left because he wanted to escape prosecution. Like I said, he left way before nagka-charges.
That's true, but nakasulat po dito, he left when formal charges against him were imminent.
No, that's not. He left in July. The charges, I think, were filed in November. Diba? Ilang buwan yun? 4 months. Hindi imminent ng 4 months. Again, because that's what the Sandigan saw dun sa motion ng prosecution.
So they affirmed that?
Well, they had no choice because it was one-sided. They thought that we were waiving our comment. So they didn't see our side. You see,
ito po yung sinasabi nyo na pre-empt po kayo.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm not faulting the Sandigan. One-sided kita nila.
Okay, so as of now, Zaldico's passport is cancelled. That's the status.
I understand. I saw the press release of the DFA. Meron na rin kung mag-grant yung motion for RICO namin, kung i-reverse din yun, i-reinstate.
So hindi po siya nakakapag-travel, tama po ba?
Hindi ko alam, Gretchen, whether nagta-travel siya before this whole thing.
But right now, he's not able to move.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if there's even any attempt to move.
Okay, there are suspicions that he may be in Portugal and holding a Portuguese passport. In fact, the government has already reached out to the Portuguese government. Your response to these efforts?
Well, the government can do what they feel is right within the law, so I have no comment. I don't know if he has a Portuguese passport or any other passport for that matter.
But do we know if he has any other citizenship aside from being Filipino?
Not that I know. No.
Okay. So with this cancellation of his passport and an impending red notice from Interpol, has he expressed interest yet in surrendering?
No, I haven't spoken to him since yesterday. Or since Monday.
Oho.
So I've been
Oo.
busy with the Sandigan Bayan. So
Ano po ang reaction po niya? Ano po sinabi po niya?
hindi pa kami nag-usap. I'm sure he's concerned. Kasi nga na-receive ko to Monday ng after lunch, yung nag-press conference yung Malacanang. So, yun na, nag-investigate na kami. Sabi ko nga na wala. And then we received it at close of business. So, we've been working since then. And then, nag-raid kahapon, yung search warrant, which I will not discuss also. So, we were busy also until 3 a.m.
Well, as of today, hindi po masyadong pinapansin yung kanyang testimonya dahil hindi po ito nakalagay sa or it was not done under oath and sworn before an official office. And so, paano po yun? Ano pong plano ni Congressman Zaldico if does he have interest in becoming state witness?
It could happen. Nasabi ko na rin yan many times na hindi naman objective nung kanya mga statements, yung mga sa Facebook. Hindi naman objective nun is to pronounce anyone guilty. Linabas lang niya yun because he was afraid nga na kung may mangyari sa kanya, at least nasabi niya na lahat, hindi pa nga kompleto. Now, let the government do with that what they will. Sinasabi nila hindi under oath and therefore hindi nila imbestigahin. Okay, bahala kayo kung ayaw niyo imbestigahin. Parang may nakaw, may murder na walang witness, hindi na nila imbestigahin. Dahil palang affidavit. Ridiculous. But that's their prerogative. If they don't want to investigate, then bahala sila. Now, I told him that eventually he will have to go on oath, and that's still in the pipeline.
That's still the plan.
Yeah. Kasi walang value judicially.
So that means eventually we'll see him back in the Philippines.
Eventually, he will testify. Whether it's in the Philippines or somewhere else, he will. Eventually. Walang choice.
And realistically, what would make him return home? You did mention he's fearing for his life, and his case has already been prejudged. But as of this moment, what could realistically make him come home?
Well, I said that it was the ombudsman who prejudged this case, not the Sandigan Bayan. So, as to what will make him come home, ayoko na sagutin yan because it's being twisted and used against me. Sinabi na nga ng ombudsman that I was demanding, di ba, bail and that I was demanding house arrest. Never said that. In fact, he never said that. I said that in my mind, it might work for him. But I never said that it's a condition. So, let's leave it at that. Anyway, they can watch the videos. So.
Okay, so what's next on your timeline? Ano po how many days do you have? Monday is
Monday,
next.
yeah. I have 3 days to finish it.
Doon po sasagot ang Sandigan Bayan, doon sa MR po ninyo?
Yes. I suppose sasagutin yung ombudsman and then we will file the opposition to the motion to cancel the passport because nga, yun yung original motion. And also the motion to declare him as a fugitive. Basically, we're asking the Sandigan to reopen it, to reopen that issue and to reconsider its future.
Okay, meron po panawagan mula sa DILG sa mga Pilipino na kung nakita nila si Zaldico, they should take photos, take videos, and let the Philippine government know where he is.
Okay, that's a prerogative.
Okay, maraming salamat ho for joining us this morning and answering the latest on the situation of former lawmaker Zaldico. We have Attorney Rui Rondain, legal counsel for the congressman.
Good to see you.
Salamat for your time. And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your Friday morning. Let's go ahead and make the day and the weekend matter. My name is Gretchen Ho. Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time.